All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Passion Perspective, a look at everything in the world of sex and relationships. Today, I am Emily.
And I am MC Tovette, and we're not together.
We are not together. We are coming at you virtually from the safety of our own homes.
Yay! We're going to have a lot of fun in today's show, Emily.
We sure are, MC. I realized I was putting on like a weird radio voice. I can't help it. This setup is contributing to that. Anyway, but yes, no, we're very excited about the upcoming episodes. So we have a few sort of special episodes coming up because obviously we've got some extenuating circumstances, just crazy weather out there, right? Just crazy times. That was a bad joke. Obviously, yes. some stuff going on. But so we wanted to bring some joy and fun stuff for you. So MC, did you want to give a little teaser of what we're going to be going over tonight?
Yeah, exactly. So today we're going to talk about romance. It's really important to bring some romance into your couple because, you know, what I see out there with all of my couples and even in my own couple, you're coming home with all of this, coming home or you're already home. My husband, in his case, is coming home because we had to do layoffs this week at our work. And so he had to be at the office. There's only 2 people at the office organizing all of this. Everybody else is working remotely. But having to tell people that you're laying them off is no fun. And sometimes that can change your mood. And I'm sure that everybody's mood has probably changed from time to time these days because this is like an underlying stress. And different people have different levels of stress these days. So our whole idea is Emily and I wanted to do a show to help you because we want you to have fun during this coronavirus crisis. And it's not going to be a crisis at all because we're going to make sure you have fun. We've got some really, really great romantic ideas for you. And just listening to all of these ideas, you might even know a lot of these ideas, but it'll remind you that, you know, doing some of these fun romantic things in your couple is going to help you from going the other way. Because I think you'll either go one way or the other. So you're going to move away from each other in your couple, or you're going to get more connected. And why not remember the coronavirus as a time that you guys remember that. Remember what we did. Remember those romantic things that we did. Remember the sexy things that we did during that time. This is what we want you guys to remember. We want you to remember the fun you had during this crisis in the world, because it's up to you what you want to do with your life at this time. You can make lemons, like they say, lemonade, make lemonade out of lemons, right? That's what we're all about doing. So what we're going to do tonight is bring in some romance, and we've got other shows ahead of us. Can you talk a little bit about those shows, Emily?
Definitely. So today, of course, like MC was just saying, we're going to be focusing a bit more on the romantic aspect of things. So we understand, obviously, a lot of people are self-quarantined, are self-isolating, you're home together, whether you're in a house or an apartment or whatever, whether you have kids. The fact is a lot of people right now all over the world are having to spend most of their time inside together. And that surprisingly, even with people we love, that can create some interesting circumstances. So essentially, this show is going to focus on finding romance during these times, which can sometimes present unique obstacles that we don't usually run up against. The next episode that we're going to be doing is going to focus a little bit more on the sexy side of things. So turning your cabin fever into sex fever. But it's going to focus a bit more on the sexuality side. Now, a lot of people think romance and sex are one and the same. They can be, but not always. So we're differentiating those. So next episode, we'll focus a bit more on the sexual side of things. After that, we've got a great episode coming up about sex toys. Now, for many of you, you may be aware that we've been on a bit of a hiatus for a couple of months. MC's been doing some traveling, and I actually did a bit of a career transition, and I'm now working for an organization called Wow Tech, and full disclosure, they're in the sex toy business. So I'm taking a lot of my newfound knowledge and going to be bringing it to you in that third episode. We'll be talking a little bit about that. And then in the fourth show, we're going to be talking a little bit about looking back as sort of a retrospective of your relationships, your romantic relationship with your partner, and taking the time. We have a lot of more time perhaps than usual to reflect on things and think on things. So that episode is going to focus a little bit on that aspect. And then we're going to close out this little mini series with an episode about living in close quarters. Because like I said, whether you're in a house or like me, where you're in an apartment, everyone is spending more time indoors. And we're going to give you some tips on how to make the most of that.
Yeah, how to communicate, basically, what happens if your partner or your spouse yells at you all of a sudden, or gives you like a harsh conversation, and what do you do about that? There are things you can do that can really help you to get along better for both of you. I'll teach you how to react and maybe not react. Mm-hmm. And also, when to cool off. When do you need to cool off? So we'll be doing that episode. Do you think we should do that episode earlier, Emily?
Maybe. As I was talking about it, I'm like, I feel like maybe that's what people are really hoping to hear about.
Yes.
Even, I don't know about where folks are listening or watching from, but here in Canada, we've kind of been in tighter self-quarantine things for about a week now, I would say, is when things really ramped up. It's only been a week. We're probably going to have many more weeks of this. And depending on where you are, maybe you've been in self-quarantine a bit longer. Maybe you've locked down for longer than that. So yes, I think maybe people are anxious to hear about the best way to communicate and live together in close quarters most of the time.
And write to us to let us know what positive things you have done together in your couple.
Yeah.
Because we want to teach other people the same. We want to teach them how to have fun together, how to improve your relationships. Why not make this a time where you can have a better relationship? And by the way, it's a really good time to see, you have time right now. Maybe it's a good time to check in with a coach, check in with a relationship counselor or a therapist, because they can help you through these times. You have time to talk, time to get along. Why not make this a really good opportunity, time to do that?
Well, and I was going to say, for folks that are maybe new to this, who are just joining us now, MC is, of course, an ASEX certified sex coach and sex educator. And MC, you've been seeing clients through this whole situation so far, right?
Exactly. And I've given my clients an assignment, and I want to give our listeners an assignment. So the assignment that I want to give you is for you to think of, each of you in your couple, to think of 3 things that you would like your partner to do romantically. So maybe have the discussion, what is romance for you? What does romance look like? Because we might have different ideas as to what romance looks like, right? We might have different opinions. One person might just want to be massaged. The other person might want to have a lot of foreplay. So I think it might be a good idea to check out our other shows, because we talk about simmering. Simmering is a really fun thing that you can do. It's what you do between sex. So it's really, really keeping your relationship simmering hot to hot. So you can do nice little things for each other. And we'll be talking about that a little bit today. But please go back to that episode on simmering, because you're going to learn a lot about how to keep it hot in between, because especially right now, we got to keep it hot.
Absolutely.
So the assignment that I want to give to our listeners, Emily, is to pick 3 things that are what you consider to be very romantic. So we're going to make suggestions for some romantic ideas also. And I think it's important for you to know what your love languages are when you're thinking about romance also, because something that could be really romantic for one person would not be romantic for the other. For example, if you actually help your partner, one of my clients told me this last week, you're giving me all these romantic things, MC, and not one of those interests me at all. But if my husband did the dishes for me, I would be totally in the mood for intimacy later on. So everybody's got different love languages. So go to 5lovelanguages.com. Figure out what your love languages are. It's the first thing that I have my couples do in our sessions, so that you could know how your partner needs to be loved. And this is going to be transferred very well romantically. How they want to be loved often is the way that they want to be romanced. So a physical touch, that means probably every time you go by them, you could just touch them and it's going to make them feel really good. I already said for acts of service is when you're actually doing the dishes or helping them around the house. And I think a really good act of service is to do something that your partner would not normally anticipate that you do for them. So let's say you've got a whole list of normal chores that you do in your couple. How about helping them? You know they're having a bad day, helping them to do those chores, and that can put them in a total good mood. So there's also quality time, which you're getting lots of time doing, but maybe not so much if you're watching TV. Like when you're watching TV, if you're stopping to discuss what you're watching on TV or acting out what you're watching on TV, that could be a lot of fun. But when you're watching coronavirus information all day, all night long, it's not good for your couple. It's not good for your romance. It's certainly not good for your sex drive. So I would really recommend getting away from the TV and getting into your partner's love languages. Quality time would be whatever you would need to make sure you have quality time. So for instance, just looking at the list of things that you've done, that you've picked, and maybe doing some of those things, you'll feel really super connected that way. So which ones am I missing? I'm missing gifts. So maybe make something. I'll be talking about that.
Yeah, this one's a slight, I was going to say the people who are quality time, like this is your moment. Like yeah. There's nothing but quality time right now. But yeah, gifts, I was interested to hear your recommendations on that one. Cause
gifts. It's really good to get gifts going with your kids. Like to make something with your kids and to present it to your partner together. That's really cute to do that. And for you to do something separate, like maybe write a little book of things that you like about them or love about them, appreciation book. You can write a book, find a book around the house, maybe one of those journals you only did journaling for 3 or 4 pages. Rip those out and write in your journal that you'd like to give them quality, a gift of your time, of saying what you appreciate about them every night before they go to bed. You actually put that on their pillow before they go to bed. And before they go to sleep, they read something nice that you said about them. So that's really awesome. You're never going to fight if you do this stuff, guys. You're not going to fight when you're feeling appreciated. Your subconscious is really taking in what your partner said to you last night, what they wrote down for you last night, and that makes you feel so good. Which brings me to appreciation, because appreciation is an important love language so that we can really you have time to appreciate each other. This is the time. So if that's your love language, just think about giving your partner compliments, noticing what they do for you. Take the extra time to really, really like notice, oh, you've dressed up, which is a nice thing to do. You shouldn't always be dressed in your grubbies when you want to have a special moment for your partner. You dress up for them. I had a client tell me today, why not, you're wearing all your grubbies all day long. Why not unveil beautiful lingerie underneath there? Whoa, wasn't expecting that. So that's kind of a fun thing that you can do. So yeah, so I've covered the 5 love languages. So check that out, and you could maybe try some of that. Try some of those.
And for anyone who's not familiar with the 5 love languages, MC, do you want to just give a really brief overview of like what that even is for people that are completely new to that?
Sure. So the 5 love languages are by Gary Chapman. He's a Chapman from the Army. And when he wrote this book, he spent 10 years studying couples and noticing that they have these love languages. And they have dialect also, different things that they like within the love languages. So he's actually written a book, and he's written many books, love languages for men, for children. I actually did a love language quiz for my grandchildren. So that's something that you can do with your kids, everybody. I did it with my 8-year-old and 10-year-old, and right away, she answered those questions. My granddaughter, Gabrielle, she answered those questions so fast. I couldn't get over it right away. She knew that I'm affirmations. That's what she said to me. I like compliments, Betty. And she's just like me because I'm the same. So it's all about really learning how you need to be loved. And often it's the way that you were loved when you were a child. The way your parents love you, but not necessarily because it might be something that you're really missing. You didn't have a lot of affection growing up, let's say, and all of a sudden you're craving affection. So it's mostly the way that you were loved as a child, but not always. It's really important to answer those questions, and it's very well done. And I think you're really going to appreciate how your life can change and how you can see your couple differently once you really tune into each other's love languages. Yeah, you might not want to vacuum, but it's what you do in your partnership to show your partner that I do love you. This is the way you want to be loved. I will vacuum for you today, my dear. And if you are a person who likes affirmations, likes receiving compliments, then it's really, really important for that person who just got the vacuum cleaning done for you to say, thank you so much for vacuuming for me. I really appreciate it. And then do something for them and check into their other love language. I think it's important to know what the top two are. That being said, I've had clients that have had 4 of the top, many of them actually, they're really close in the numbers for all 4. My husband says he wants all the love languages.
I feel like that every time I look at the response or the different, like all the different things that fall under each one. I'm like, I like all of those. But I think the reason, and you can go on to what was the website again, MC? Sorry, it's
number 5, lovelanguages.com.
Right. And I think so you can do like a quiz there for free. It's really good. And I think why this is so foundational to romance is, and what we're talking about today is because, like you were saying, MC, to appreciate your partner properly, you have to understand what they're throwing at you. You know what I mean? Like, what's so fascinating with the love languages is a lot of times when people do this, they realize a lot of the times that maybe they've been thinking that their partner hasn't been showing them any kind of affection or anything. And then you do this and you realize, every time they take out the trash, to them, that is them showing their love and appreciation for you, but you just weren't aware of it. So, and this goes back to MC, the whole point of this first assignment is sitting down together and figuring out what you consider romantic, the same way that the love languages is important to figure out what you are, so you're on the same page. And then that is probably, I would imagine, and see, maybe you can comment on this, but that's probably going to affect what you find romantic or not, and why it's so important to be on the same page about that. But yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on the
exactly. It's exactly what you find. It's exactly what you find romantic, because if you want, let's say, for instance, you like quality touch. What is it? Words of
quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch.
Physical touch. Gosh, I've been saying this for years. So, if you're the type of person that wants physical touch, then it's going to be really important that you get massages and that you're touched. The person walks by you touch them. You're not on the couch opposite. You're glued together. If you're watching TV or just hanging out or reading, there's usually one leg on top of another. That's what a person who likes that love language. That's romantic to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to say what's romantic, because everybody's different. So ask each other what's romantic to you, and doing your love languages certainly might help you, but it might be something else. So please explore and talk about it so that you can know further. So how about if I give our listeners some ideas of what they can do?
Yeah, that sounds great.
So if you have kids, it's really hard. You might think of it as being really hard to be romantic, but I want you to start thinking about being romantic around kids. Because when I do a history with my couples, I always do a history to see, what was it like with your parents growing up? And what I see often is, if the parents weren't romantic openly in front of their kids, the kids didn't grow up being romantic. So this is really, really important for the kids to see that you're romantic together, and they're going to end up living a better life, I would think, because they're going to know what romance might look like for them, because you're essentially models to them. So I have a couple cute ideas of what you can do. So the other day, my husband came home and I had his favorite dessert, I had some butter tarts. He loves his butter tarts. And I had some strawberries, and I had a bottle of wine, 2 wine glasses. So I made a mid-afternoon date, because this is something that you can do right now. And what my idea is for the kids to get in on the preparation to prepare the afternoon date for mom and dad. And I don't know, my grandkids seem to do that naturally, but it's something that you can do for the other spouse. So that's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, like, right now, for example, if you tell whoever, like your partner, if they're working from home, you can tell them to, stay in their office or their area, and it can be a bit of a surprise maybe that way. Yeah. Or like in your case, or like if they have to, if they're having to be out working, getting it ready maybe while they're gone.
Yes. And if they come in the kitchen, you say, get out of the kitchen. No, we're preparing a surprise for you. And that makes kids feel really good. When you say that and you say, no, don't come in, it's really fun for them to do that. So, yeah. So that's kind of a fun thing for you to do. And it's good modeling. Another, preparing a romantic dinner for their parents. That could be, if you get some surprises, but then you tell the kids, tonight is a romantic dinner for Papa and Mama, your mom and dad. So would you guys be willing to help prepare the dinner? And you guys are going to get to eat a little bit of it before. And then we've got a surprise for you in your room after. Like, try to make it fun for them too. And, you could be having a romantic dinner and they could go down the stairs and look to see what you're doing. That's cute. They see mom and dad kissing. That's a beautiful thing for the kids to learn for the future. So
and I think
ideas.
And I think it's important too, like going back to our original point, this is the difference between sex and romance, right? Like it's romance is, how would you define romance? And see, I know this is different for everybody to the point of this whole assignment, but just curious, like what your thoughts are, like,
I think
romance and sex for you.
Yeah, I think it's really different for every person. For me, it's sort of preparation, it's connection. It's bonding, things that you each like to do to help you to bond as a couple. So that could be different for everyone. So you need your own definition, but I really feel that it's connected to the bonding that you have as a couple and what that means for you. And you want different things. So you'll definitely need to compromise here. And it's not hard to compromise for romance. Sexuality is a bit more difficult. It's a little bit more complicated, and that's going to be for another show. Yeah. But for romance, I think it should be doable for everybody to do that. It might take some effort. For instance, if somebody says, I just want you to cook for me, I think it's really romantic for you. Go all the way. Let's say it's a woman wants a guy to cook for them, right? Then go all the way, guys. Like, pretend you're doing the whole chef thing, and the food might not be
pretend to be Gordon Ramsay. Just go for it. Just scream and swear.
Yeah. Make a scene in the kitchen. The kids will love it.
Yeah, just throw stuff.
Yes, have some fun with it. And then you could be the server, and you could put, the napkin around the serving napkin and serve the wine.
Or even better, get your kids to do that.
Oh, that's even better. That's a good idea, Emily.
There's nothing better than tricking your children into thinking that housework and servitude is like a fun thing for them to do. You're like, yes, vacuuming is the greatest.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea for sure. So some other things that you can do sans enfant, so without kids, you can always lock the bathroom door and have a nice romantic bath time together. For my husband and I, it's when we have our deepest and most wonderful conversations, because it's a state of relaxation for each of us. You can have your favorite beverage there, a glass of wine or herbal tea, whatever soothes you, makes you feel good and makes your body feel good. You can do bubbles if you want to, whatever, and romantic music. And set the mood with candles. That could be really, really nice. You already all know that. But I'm reminding you that's something you could do. But the important thing is you can do it even if there are kids in the house. Parents sometimes forget that they can still have fun when kids are in the house. You can still get romantic and do some really fun things in the bathroom. Sometimes you need to learn how to be quiet.
Which can be really fun all of in its own. It adds a whole other element to it.
Exactly. So I'm going to give some other ideas, and please feel free to chime in if you want to give your own version of these, Emily.
Yeah.
So while you're cooking in the kitchen, you could be cooking together. I love it when my husband's my sous chef. I usually do most of the cooking in the house. He does great salads. So I'm sometimes his sous chef, but that's the time where you can touch each other, rub butts when you go by, do some sexy dancing. Make sure you put some sexy music on when you're cooking together in the kitchen. And don't be afraid to touch each other. If your partner prefers delayed intimacy, don't touch them in their sexy parts. I'm saying sexy parts because this is more like an R-rated show, not like our usual show, Emily. So don't touch the sexy parts because, sometimes you want to wait and just tease, right?
So what is delayed intimacy? What does that mean?
So that you're actually working intimacy while you're doing that. I should say more delay the sexual act. Oh, okay. So you can just work up to it. It's more teasing.
Mm-hmm.
Tease your partner. You just don't go right for that spot because they might prefer that a little tease. And you know what? You ask if that's what you like. Ask your partner, is this what you like, or do you prefer that I tease you? Why not have that conversation so that you can know what your partner desires? That's what's happening in a lot of couples. A lot of couples that I see, they come to me so I can help explain what their partner desires. But we need to teach I teach my clients how to ask for what they desire. So why not do it right now? Just go for it. And it works really well if you use iMessages. So that's something really fun that they could do. Do you have any other things that you think you could do in the kitchen, Emily? Can you think of any?
Well, I think the kitchen is a good spot for a lot of things. I think there's lots of opportunity. I did have a question, MC, for you based on, so we love the psychotherapist Esther Perel. If you're not familiar with her, she's great. And she talks a lot about sort of romance and eroticism and how for that to really flourish, there needs to be some element of mystery. And in this case, I'll use the word distance, but it's interesting in this case because we can't get physical distance for this mysterious component. And so I'm wondering if you have any tips for people who, like me, for example, are in an apartment. So there's really not like a ton of room to get any kind of distance. Like I'm actually lucky we have a 2-bedroom, so we do have the flexibility there, but a lot of people might not. And so I'm wondering if you have any ideas on fun ways that people can add elements of mystery into their relationship while they're stuck 24/7 basically together all the time.
Yeah. So I the first thing that popped into my brain, Emily, is you all have smartphones. You can send each other sexy texts and you can say what you're planning on doing to your partner later. So there's a little bit of mystery involved there, and you're wondering, what are they going to do to me later? Like you could say, I'm going to do some really fun things with you later, or explain what you're going to do later, and they could wonder what is that going to look like, right? They can start really asking themselves these questions.
I love that, and I immediately think of so you're in the same apartment or space together, and you're texting, and if they try and talk to you about it, it's a no-no. You're like, nope. Like,
yeah, exactly.
This is all happening through text. Like there's no conversation about it to kind of amp up that excitement.
Yes, exactly. So it's another means of communication. So it feels like you're coming from the outside, where it's really coming from the inside. So it'll give you that space notion also, which is kind of good to do these days. So that could be something that's really fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so let's talk about a boob massage, or like all those. I said boob massage. I looked down and I saw boob massage. Let's talk
like a boob massage. I was like, what is there? Boob
later. The boob thing is coming later. Yeah. So when you want to get closer, a really good way to do it is to massage each other. And a lot of my clients find that with regards to sexuality, they're often in their minds and they can't get into it. So it's really important to get into your bodies. And a really good romantic thing to do is to massage each other. Massage each other's back, your legs, your feet. Ask and find out what their favorite parts that they love to have massage, and you could do a massage. You could even do it while they watch TV. Why not connect more? Because I know people are watching TV a lot more. So stay connected by massaging each other's feet. Stay connected that way. You know, when you're waiting for the next episode to load, go do some French kissing. French kissing can be really romantic, or any kind of kissing. Make out, and you might not even want that show to load. You might keep it going and get into that fun part. Do you want me to tell you what the boob thing was?
Yes. So I'm still hearing boom. So it's.
So what happens when your partner doesn't want to wash their hands as much as you do for the same amount of time? That's when the boob comes in. So a client said, sweetheart, can you wash your hands? I said, I wash my hands a lot. I said, I want to see you wash your hands a lot. I want to see what that looks like. And so finally he washed his hands for 20 seconds. Or, happy birthday to you, and ABCD, all those things that we do to measure the amount of time that we wash our hands. And this client did a boob flash to give them a reward. And so every time the guy came in, he went and washed his hands.
That's hilarious.
And then he'd say, "Where's my boob flash?"
I love that. I also just thought of, you could do like a suggestive hand washing, like if you're having the person looking. So yeah, that's also something you might be able to get away with even if you have kids around.
Yes, you might, and you might want to bring them into the bathroom, shut the door, and then do some boob washing. Now we're getting carried away.
And then there's bubbles, and suddenly there's pillows, and people are like hitting each other with pillows. Yeah. That's fine.
Yes, I think it's important to have those pillow fights. Have them with your kids too. Pillow fights is great. You know, a lot of the men in the workshops that I give, often the men want to play the way that they played when they were little. So what did that look like? It looked like wrestling, pillow fights. All of those physical things that they did, that's how they want to do their romance, or I would probably call it foreplay, because it really gets you revved up and gets you ready. Yeah. And it's really fun for the kids to get them revved up. And just they'll remember these days. Remember we used to have the pillow fight. The whole family had pillow fights during that time. So that's a really good thing to do with your kids also.
I love that.
Something else that kind of reminded me of this week is how important it is to take our time when we're kissing our partner, not just when we're kissing behind the ears, spend a lot of time there. Kiss behind the neck. We forget to do that. We do that at the beginning when we first start going out, and it feels so good. And you try to think, why isn't kissing as fun anymore? Because we're forgetting to do those things, or we're lingering behind the ears and in the neck, in the chest area. Like, spend some time there.
And especially for those of us, because I know I'm like a big physical touch person, and that's actually something I've even I discover more and more how important that is to me. Because for a long time, I don't think that I would have identified my love language that way, but and I'm sure perhaps other people have also experienced this. I've had some just sort of underlying, what I would call existential anxiety in the last few days. Like, just things just feel a little off, and I can't quite pinpoint it, but you know what I mean? I think a lot of people are experiencing that. And the other day I had a thing and I was like, I just need a hug. And so I went to Braden and said, like, I just need a hug. And we just hugged for like a few minutes kind of thing. And I felt better. So it's things like that proved to me just how important that is. But I was even thinking, like, for anybody else who's a physical touch person, and like back to the kitchen, what you were saying, MC, about like a kiss on the back of the neck, or like if I'm doing dishes and just having him come up behind me and like hug me from behind kind of thing. It's really, really nice. And it's one of those touches that just kind of keeps things, I don't know, it just feels very nice.
Yes, and it creates oxytocin, which is a feel-good hormone. We
Mm-hmm.
need oxytocin right now. Hug each other all the time. You know, your kids are going to see that. It's going to feel, they're going to start hugging each other also,
Yeah.
hugging you. You know, it's a good time. It's a good time to be doing that. And the whole mood of the house is going to change. I promise you. Start hugging, start paying attention, start listening to your kids, to your spouse, your partner. You're going to see that things are going to shift. We need a shift. And this
Mm-hmm.
is going to really help with positivity, get away from the hysteria and get into the positivity of being with your people and appreciating them. Because often in these times, the first person that we are hard on is our spouse, our partner, our kids. So do you really want to do that? Do you want to spend negative time with them? I think it's time to spend some positive time with them. And you're going to see the mood is going to change. Everything's going to shift in your house. It's going to be a beautiful home again, and even better than before. That's my dream for you, for all of you, is for your home to be a better home than pre-coronavirus. And end up having a more loving home, a more connected couple. This is what it's all about.
I love
So
that.
how about, yeah, do you want some more ideas, some more fun ideas?
Yeah, if you've got them, let's hear them.
We're going to get into more of the couples stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
So how about you put the kids to bed, because you can't do this in front of the kids. Get into some sexy lingerie or some sexy shorts or underwear for the guys. And you could do a photo shoot. Do a photo shoot and get into different positions, go all over the house, do different shots around the house. Your house will never look the same.
You could also, if lingerie is not your thing, I literally just had an image. If you really like being in your comfies, do a sexy photo shoot in your comfies, like
yes,
in your sweatpants, whatever. Just go and take sexy pictures of each other, because even if it makes you laugh, it's done its job.
Exactly. You're releasing stress when that happens, and that's what we need right now.
Definitely.
So you can still shop online right now. So why not order some sexy lingerie online and do a sexy lingerie reveal or sexy underwear reveal? Right? It goes both ways. So that's something that could be fun to do, and you could go sex toy shopping together. You know, don't just look at the TV all day learning about coronavirus. You can learn about sexy shopping. And that's where you come in, Emily. You have all those sexy toys at your work that you can
sure do. We'll talk about that later. But yes, that is one thing that is still readily available to everybody.
And what about the sales?
Oh, they're doing well. People may have actually seen that in the news. There's been quite a few stories about it, but yeah, sex toy sales have been seeing a surge, because it's a great way to pass the time, whether you're in a couple or not. And actually, MC, that just reminded me of another thing. Do you have any tips for people who are maybe not with their partner right now? Like if you're in a long distance situation or you're not living together and you can't see each other right now, do you have some romance tips for those folks?
Yes, I do. And Emily, we'll have to ask our listeners to listen to the next show, which is on sexuality. Mm-hmm. So I can give you some of those tips too. I won't be doing that on this show because it's more the R-rated version. But really nice things that you could do is send each other emails, write each other love letters. We're not doing that anymore.
I was going to say, I think it's a perfect opportunity to do some written letters, some old-fashioned love letters. I love that. You can send them with perfume if you want, or whatever. Yeah, I love that.
Exactly. If you're creative, you can make up a song and sing a song, and you could do this with your kids. If your kids are away from your partner, like anybody who's in the military. I was supposed to teach military this spring, but I'm sure that's all canceled now. But all of my military people, staying connected by, just talking to each other on the internet and really getting into what really makes you feel more romantic. It's really, really good to do that. Everything that we've said would probably work for those people. Finding out what their love languages are, you can look those up, find out what that looks like. We've got, like you said, the letters, the notes, the texts, the sexy texts. Those are all really great things. Making up a song, videotaping it, shipping it off. or sending it, I should say. And some really, really fun things, creative things that you could do. You can build things with your kids and then, take pictures and send it. My grandkids did, like every room in their house had, they built these Lego things, creative Lego things. And those are all sent off, and it's just so much fun to see what kids can do and look what they can do. Look at the picture. Look at the picture they did for you. You can do a picture, do hearts with little love messages.
You know what else I've seen, which I thought was really, really fun, is you can do a virtual dinner date night if you both have access, where you, in advance, you plan what you're both going to be cooking, and you cook ideally the same meal, but I guess you really don't have to.
Yeah.
But
you
set up candles, so you exchange recipes, and then you both cook, and you can either like video chat while you're cooking, or you can wait until you've done cooking and you're both sitting down. But it's basically a virtual dinner party. And I've heard some people doing that, and I thought that was so much fun and just a nice way to at least have the illusion of eating a nice dinner together.
Exactly. And that's very romantic. Food is very romantic. You can even feed each other in the bedroom. Put the kids to bed and have dessert and feed each other dessert. That's a lot of fun to do. Yeah. Do it very slow and do it very sexy, and tease. Teasing is the key. So you can get a lot of other ideas in my book, Honeymoon Playbook. You can find it on Amazon. There's a lot of really great fun games that you could play. You can really get into discovering each other's erogenous zones. That's a lot of fun. You can, really learn some sexy things to do to the sexy parts, the vulva and the vagina. I've got like a picture that my grandkids went, "Oh, Mammy, you drew a vulva and a penis." At least they said vulva.
I was going to say they use anatomically correct terms, and that is a huge win.
Yes, it's a win. So there's a lot of romance in there also. And there's a lot of hot conversation starters. Just, pretend you're at a restaurant and you're asking each other some questions, like make a romantic dinner. Ask each other some of those hot, sexy questions to get you going. Like, for instance, what were the sexiest things that we've ever done together? That's something really fun that you can ask to get things going. And it's very simmering.
That's great.
I think we should probably end on that note, unless you have anything else to say, Emily.
No, I was going to say on that note, I think it's a perfect place to end. And I hope everyone got some ideas, whether, like we said, whether you're with your partner or not. We hope that this has given you some inspiration for how to infuse the situation with romance and really make the best of the time available. Because it looks like we're going to be in this for a little while, but that's something that in some ways we can look forward to in that aspect anyway, at least spending time together.
Exactly. And this is going to be good, guys. You're going to come out of this being more connected, being more loving, and your family's going to be more connected also. Less arguing, bickering. Let's go for it. Let's love each other a lot more.
I love it. So MC,
thanks everybody.
Can you just tell everybody where they can find you?
Okay, I'm at relationshipbliss.ca, and I am taking clients online right now. So you can find me at relationshipbliss.ca, and my book is called Honeymoon Playbook, and you can find it on Amazon. Honeymoonplaybook.com is where you can get the link. And I'd love to meet you guys. I'd love to help you if you're struggling. I do Gottman's coaching, so that's all about helping you to communicate better. And basically, I do an evaluation of your whole couple to see exactly what's not going well. And it's very, very comprehensive. And I have the solutions to help you to make things go much, much better in your couple.
That's awesome. So that's all for us for right now. But I hope everybody stays safe. Everybody stays healthy. And like a lot of people have been saying, but we're all going to get through this together.
It's time to get passionate, everybody.
Absolutely. Bye, everybody.